who does not run out of shit to say.
As long as you keep me well asahi'd, we'll keep this moving. I mean, I don't want Sam to get bored. We have to go to Sugarfish after this.
Sugarfish is fine. It's next to my house. It's only 7 o'clock. You're fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great. We're right on time. I'm not being a grandpa. I'm just being efficient about things.
Are we on? Are we up?
You want to just talk shit. You
Yep.
want to talk
Yep.
shit into
Are we
a
running?
giant hole.
Are we streaming?
We are.
All right. You want to put the headphones on? No. All right.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Sam. I don't
Hello,
mean to
everybody.
tune out.
Hey, streaming streams. Are people up?
Do people really listen to
We
this?
are live.
We are live.
Yes, we are.
And are there people?
2.
Yeah, wow.
That's enough.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's happening. So welcome, everybody, to Robot and the Bear podcast, episode number 39.
39.
Featuring Mr. Luke Chu, myself, and we have a special guest,
The infamous.
the Sucklord.
Oh.
There's a little bit of a delay, obviously, from our sound, about 15 seconds, but hey, that's how it works.
Thanks for teeing that up.
Yes, my man. Had no idea. Well, you just even picked it up. They are listening.
What do you guys normally talk about on this show?
Everything. It's kind of a free flowy show, right? Like, we just talk about whatever comes to mind.
Is somebody in charge, or do I have to run this, or what's up?
No. Like we've been doing it for.
Make sure you get close to the mic too. We can also push this thing up forward.
Yeah.
Luke can help.
How's that?
Hey.
Yeah. There you
By the way, I
go.
just got to put my face like right up to the mic.
You
Yep.
want to sound good? There you go. If you don't want to sound good, okay. But no. Now you sound good.
Great. So what do you want to know about? What
We-
do you talk about on the show?
We get going and we start with a top 5. We do top 5s each.
Okay.
I do a top 5. He does a top 5, and you can do a top 5. They can also be a bottom 5. That's how we usually get going.
Top 5 of what?
Anything you want.
Anything?
Anything.
Anything. It can be anything.
I'll go second.
Okay.
All right.
Sure. It gives me time to think.
Oh, okay, good. Then I'll go first.
You didn't show up with top 5 ready to
I
go.
used to, but today no.
Yeah. Usually
Yeah.
we do. I'm usually pretty much prepared, but like Decon just took the 5 out of me.
Oh, and nothing at Decon was top 5 for you?
Oh well, Decon is my top 5.
Yeah, all of it. So okay, I'm gonna start first. Let me just get it going. Number 5. I guess I'll just say decon. So, okay. But there's a lot of aspects about decon, but I'll have to say that decon itself as a number 5 was improved, in my opinion.
Yes.
I thought it was better. It was maybe better managed, but also there was more vendors for sure.
Yes.
And there was more people, and I felt like people were there to spend a little more. I
Sure.
don't know if I'm wrong about any of that, or did you experience the same thing? But I experienced better than last year for sure, and better than last year of my Pasadena version.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was an improvement of decon. Out to give it to Ben and what's that dude's name?
Kevin.
Yeah, that guy.
To Kevin.
Yeah. The event was definitely better, improved, and I'm okay. So, did you feel that too?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
How about yourself?
I mean, would I put Decon in my top 5?
I don't know. It's up to you.
I mean, in recent memory, it was the only thing that was happening. I did Decon, and then I went to fucking Galaxy's Edge. So that's like my top 5.
That's pretty good.
I have not done Galaxy's Edge
Yeah,
yet.
either have I actually.
It's okay. What I've been attending Decon as a vendor since 2009, and I've seen it come and go. I've seen it go up and down, and I've seen a lot of different reactions as far as are we gauging like how much people spend as a measure of success.
I guess attendance and money are both like, factors, right? Like, and then like just seeing like who is like, buying booths and participating is also a factor too.
Top-notch people.
Top notch.
I just felt
some
that
of the greatest contemporary artists of all time
Sure.
are buying booths at DesignerCon. I mean, Giant Robot had a booth.
Wow.
Psychedelic had a booth. Luke Chu had a booth. Did you have your own booth?
I had my own booth.
Yeah.
You had a Luke Chu booth.
Yep.
See, that's contemporary art right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, how much does it cost to get in? $7-8?
No, I think
No.
Price
10
went
bucks.
up.
Nope.
$10.
If you
15,
walked up on, let's say Saturday, it was $35 to get in.
You know, I spent $150 to go into fucking motherfucking Galaxy's Edge. So,
But you could have gone to Small World also.
Yeah.
I could have.
And
I
many
did.
other things.
Yeah, I went on the
Yeah, you
Jungle
got a
Cruise.
fucking feature
There
line.
was racism on the Jungle Cruise.
Probably.
Vestigial racism.
Probably.
No, there was racist jokes happening.
Was there?
Oh, really?
I haven't been on that.
You mean
since
like
so long.
the guy on the boat was like, you know?
No, the guy on the boat, you know, the Jungle Cruise has that feature where the tour guide like
Yeah.
says like quippy non sequiturs about
Right.
what's going on.
Yeah.
And I guess there were some off-color jokes that have been written out of the script, and there were some Southern cracker types on the boat with me that was asking like, why didn't you make the Black Friday joke?
Whoa.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, we're not allowed to say that. And it's like, oh, that's a shame. Because I guess like there's like I mean, it's questionable enough that of the depiction of some of the African types, there's an otherization.
Right.
You know, okay, fine, but there was I guess there's some jokes they used to make that that mocked people's racial backgrounds.
Right.
And,
What race? There's only
the black race.
that's the
black
only
race.
one, right?
Yeah, there's like
it's not the Asian ones. I'm
there's-
sure that's okay.
no
but,
race.
yeah.
No, there's plenty of Asian
Are there?
racism in Disney as well.
Oh, yeah.
But they're
Small World?
They're
Yeah.
vetting it out. They're
Right.
they're
The
sort of
Siamese
exercising.
Cats is the one that comes to mind for me.
It was just like supposedly there's like there's a script that goes along with the Jungle Cruise. One of the
Yep.
features of the ride is that the pilot of the boat is making funny quips about
Right.
what's going on, and one of the old jokes was that it's I guess the jokes change depending on what time of year it is, and they were making a Black Friday joke.
Wow.
And it was going to be at the expense of a black person, and they didn't make the joke. And then one of the passengers on the boat is
Yeah.
like, "Why didn't you say the Black Friday sale when you were pointing out the black native?"
Oh,
And it's
that's
like,
what
"Oh,
you meant.
We're
Wow.
not allowed to say those jokes
Damn.
anymore." And the chick was like, "Oh, that's too bad."
Wow.
Oh.
No,
So
that's not
it's
good.
like we can't say racist shit
So they
anymore
already-
at Disney, and some people are lamenting that.
And they
It's
already
like,
knew.
Make Disney great again. When I can be a bigot at Disney and,
So they already-
and not be called out. on it.
And the people who are on the ride, they wanted to hear the jokes. That's the weirdest
Well,
part.
at least that person.
One particular
I see.
person made a point to ask, "Why didn't you make the racist
Wow.
joke?"
Damn. So they actually have that shit kind of memorized, ready
Well,
to go.
she knew,
They
but
wanted to hear it.
the thing
Yeah.
is, everybody on the boat was like, "Yeah, it's too bad we can't say that anymore." I wasn't saying that. I was appalled. I was appalled. I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Woke Disney.
Woke Disney.
I prefer
They're
woke.
ready.
I like wokeness. Wokeness is, I mean, I know a lot of people get annoyed by wokeness because they think it's too aggressive, but it's better than fucking ignorant shit.
Yep.
I agreed.
I agree.
I'd rather wokeness than fucking some stupid racist tropes.
Yeah. That. Okay, number 4.
Oh, okay.
Number 4. I'm moving on. Moving on. This is not a decon one, but did you see on the news? This is a cause thing. That painting.
Uh-oh.
That
Cause
painting,
watch.
Yeah, the cause watch. That painting he sold for what is it? $16 million.
Right.
The Sgt. Pepper one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then did you know that there was a Simpsons album before the Cause painting? And the Simpsons album was that exact lineup of what. So Cause basically copied another painter's art because there was a Simpsons version of like an album, and that existed already. So he basically copied that album cover of the Simpsons one and then just put the X-eyes on it. So there was actually a painting already made beforehand.
Wow. A bite of a bite of a bite.
Yeah, and the artist knew. Well, the artist didn't know until kind of recently that there was this painting, and this painting sold for that much money, and he wasn't given any credit at all. But he's the one that actually made the original Simpsons version. So yeah,
Wow.
That makes Cause even cooler.
I guess, or something. But
Makes him
whatever.
something.
I think like the less original and the more piracy that's involved with the Cause operation, then the cooler it is. It's like the less he invents and the more he steals from other people, like the doper it is.
You like that? No, it's okay, right?
Yeah, maybe I do.
I think that's one way to look at it. And if you look at it that way, then you're like, you got to cheer him on whenever all these bad things happen. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like when cynicism in art works, that we all benefit.
And this time, I think, God, I read something about it, and it seemed like the artist like he wasn't really mad because he already knew that his piece was already like a his own take of a Simpsons thing, but then it was used on an album. So like it was a Simpsons like music album. So it was actually kind of official, but then it's literally the same. I was like, hey, it's the painting. I thought he actually just kind of did it
like
himself.
created it himself, right?
Yeah, and I realized no, he didn't. Not even that one.
I'm sure a lot of deserving
Damn.
people made a lot of money off of that.
Sure.
Okay, what's number 3?
Number 3, I kind of took a page out of, let's say, yours, and I made my own figure on a card with a blister pack, and for Decon.
I hope that worked out great for you.
Never did that before. I've been seeing other people do it. I love the genre, love the style, love the. You've been doing it for like a decade or more. I gave it a shot. I made 32, and I sold 19 of them.
Nice.
Great. Welcome to the club.
I don't know. I tried, and I put a lot of effort into it and got it going. And
That ratio sounds about right.
Tora-chan cats. Yeah. Well, I started with 22, and then I actually made 10 more like at the last minute. So I ended up selling 19. I did pretty okay.
I'm glad that
I'm very
worked out
happy.
for you.
So yeah, I basically learned from the master yourself, and Dove kind of gave me some tips, and I made Tora-chan cats, and I made mine out of Sculpey. Didn't use whatever figures and stuff. I actually just made it out of Sculpey. So I did.
You made how many
So
pieces?
it's not really a figure. It's a figure, but it doesn't.
Pieces in this edition?
32.
And you made 32 individual pieces out of Sculpey.
Yeah,
Why?
they're all the same kind of. Because I don't know how to cast yet. I don't know how to do
But
any
you
of that.
could have done that.
I don't know how. I'll learn.
But there's so many stupid assholes that would do that for you.
Really? But then I think making it though, I learned how to do it. I got pretty fast at it, so I just kind of just went and did it.
Great. If that's your highest ambition and you achieved that, then good for you.
I did it, man. I did it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How long does this show go on for?
2 hours.
Oh,
Yeah. So we're only in the first 5 minutes.
Sam's, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Sam.
So there you go.
Is there a top 2?
That's
Can
number.
I do number 1?
That's number 3. You're gonna do your own 5 shits
I
of
see.
your
Okay.
own.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, you're gonna get to it. We're getting to it. Shit. That was number 3.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yep. This is a point to have conversations, talk about stuff that isn't so specific about us as individuals.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
Let's do this. Okay.
So number 2, then I made one more object at Decon. What was that thing? I even forgot what it was. Oh yeah, the boba plushes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Flat Bonnie made boba plushes, and those off of my just the pin designs I did,
Yeah.
and sold out of those. I mean,
Nice.
there was 25, and we sold out of those. Very good, very happy, and that was awesome. So I've never had a sold out item. I don't think so. There you go.
Congratulations.
Got a sold out item, and then now we're gonna make more for the shops.
You should.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You should go. You should probably take those to a factory to be made because
Yeah.
they're really good.
So I started making a plush at a factory, and one day maybe I'll get some pointers from somebody else. I failed on it. I didn't like the sample that was made, and I just was like, this is too far gone, and it was going to cost me too much more to get it going. So I think I just need to start at a better position.
Right.
Yeah. So I could get help from somebody professional. I just went at it. I went at it the Alibaba technique. Don't do the Alibaba technique. Yeah, I just went straight with some rando.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And number 1, I'm still going to go back to it. I like The Mandalorian. I've been watching that.
Well, that's my number 1 also.
And I'm
Yeah.
watching. No, you can't take that. I just took it.
No, it's going to save time.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about it. No, you can do it. You got a different take. I just like the fact that they're able to they're making like really simple episodes. Like the second episode was almost a gag, like a really funny.
Second episode is the worst one.
No, I loved it though because it doesn't need to do more because this is for TV. It's not making movies. I thought it was great because it's almost like watching the Cosby Show. There's just some stupid thing happens, do a whole episode around that, no problem. So this is like a way that Mandalorian can last for years if you can make stories, like short stories out of things.
Short
And
little
not each
stories.
one does not need to be epic, and that's okay.
Right.
As long as you know that there's another episode coming that
But,
might be epic.
Some of them need to be epic.
Absolutely. And the number 3 was kind of epic, I thought. So
1 and 3 was epic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
number
It's okay.
2 was not epic.
But I loved it because it kind of like had a little bit of weird character development, and it had that lone wolf and cub thing going on.
What do you think was the major character development?
Just that you're learning that this Mandalorian is not like Boba Fett was. That
Well,
he's
we learned that in the episode prior.
you're learning it more. He's a kind of a complainer, like he doesn't want to help fix the ship or whatever it was, and he's complaining he can't ride the goddamn weird animal. There's so many things that he's starting to complain about, and you're like, God, look at this guy. Like he's like a little complaint. He's just very human, right?
Yeah.
I mean, which he is, I guess, but he's just very human. And then, but you just learn that he's just like seems like a young guy who's just not seasoned yet, but he's kind of a badass fighter. I kind of like him.
Yeah,
for
but
that.
he actually didn't he lose in that fight with the knives with the other Mandalorian guy?
He wouldn't lose. Like, he's still alive.
Like no, but like you know.
Oh, you mean like the standoff with he ended up with a
But
blade
the
on his
thing
neck.
is,
I don't know.
That's a trope in any sort of like fictitious warrior culture situation where like somebody challenges the protagonist and you think he's going to be sort of like a foil to him, but then at the end of the day he turns out to be an ally.
Right.
That's like a move that they pull all the time.
Sure.
And it's perfect for TV.
It's a fake out, but it's just like it sort of says something a little bit about the culture is that like you're going to get called out. Like people are going to challenge you, and if you pass the test, they'll back you up. Like that the Mandalorian brute. What is that? What they're calling him? The
Sure,
brute?
I have no idea.
They're calling him the brute or
the
something
the
like
big
that.
dude. He's
The
kind of like
big
a big dude.
The
Yeah.
big dude.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he showed up when the jetpack to like fuck shit up when
Yeah.
but because whatever he was testing the Mandalorian at in that scene, he passed.
Yeah.
You know, and apparently because they all like sacrificed their sanctum sanctorum and they all showed up to fucking cover him, well, he got the child out of there.
Right.
And that cost them greatly because now they've revealed themselves.
Yep.
They've exposed themselves.
And they got to re-hide somewhere
yeah, they
else
gotta
and all that
re-hide
stuff.
but maybe they're tired of hiding.
Yeah,
Right.
they just killed a bunch of bounty hunters, so there's
Yeah.
not a lot of those
Well,
guys left.
Yo,
So
fuck that. I mean,
Yeah.
what I like about that show is like how quickly the plot moves along.
Sure.
It's like all the
Yeah.
things that like they set up these sort of status quo situations. Like, oh, here's the guild, and he's in the guild, and he has this little Mandalorian hideout.
Yep.
And then within the third episode, all those things have been cast aside.
Yep. And he's
Right.
flying away with the
Yeah,
kid, right?
But he's out of the guild.
yeah. Well,
Yep.
there is no.
He's not-
Yeah. All of those guys are out of the guild.
Yeah, he's
They-
he's out of the guild, and the Mandalorians have revealed themselves.
They're basically fugitives, right?
Yeah.
They're all fugitives,
I mean, I don't know why they need to hide. I guess just people want to fuck with them.
right? They got expensive ass armor to take, man.
It's
Anyways.
like crazy fucking metal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so funny because it's like everybody's saying like, "Oh, Star Wars fans are so difficult to please," and then you know, it's such a complicated, toxic fandom, and then you just make something that just jerks them off, and they shut the fuck up. It's not that hard. Just give us Boba Fett's and Baby Yodas and IG-88s and people shooting things with like and with some moral underpinnings
Sure.
underneath it, and then that's all there is. We don't need anything else.
Hmm. Right.
And put them back in the desert.
I mean,
Don't
what
be
I,
too clever.
I do love the fact that like a lot of the principal characters are like just like people of color, and it's not just like white people, and that part of it is settled.
Great.
And it's just like, yeah, it's just like he's a Latino, and we have like fucking Pacific Islanders on the show. We have like black people. We have like, it just doesn't matter. And there's white people there too, but it just doesn't matter. And it's like, like the trilogy movies are still pretty white. Like the episode 9, you know, when you see those cast photos, it's like you got Zori Bliss, who's a black woman. So like really, except for Val in Solo, which was a vague thing. You've never really had a prominent like black woman, especially with like natural hair, like a giant afro.
Right.
You know, on Star Wars, you never had like a Latino, which is like Poe
Right.
Dameron, and then you got Finn, who's a black man, and like you haven't had those things in Star Wars. But at the end of the day, it's still Rey and Kylo who are white people.
Sure.
So it's like it's getting there, but it's like still.
It's getting there.
and they
It's
and they
getting
got
there.
an Asian woman who everyone hated
Yeah.
or hates.
Yeah, but
You know,
I,
like,
but she's
that's
not
the be-
hated. But she's not hated because she's Asian. She's just hated because it's a stupid part.
I guess
Well, I mean, like Reynolds is. I don't know. Just the
There's-
entire script is.
there's a lot of Asians, and they picked that one. I don't know. That one bothers me.
There's gonna be a lot more Star Wars movies.
I know.
Well, you know, I mean that's part of like American movie culture in general. You know, like I always look at all the major Asian actors in American films, and none of them would ever have a career in Asia. None of them, because they're all too weird looking.
Like what do you mean? Like who?
Like Lucy Liu, like her wonky eye would not fucking get her a career in fucking like Hong
Wow.
Kong or China. The girl who plays Rose in Star Wars, she's too fat for Asia.
I'd smash that.
Oh yeah, well, nothing wrong with that.
It was
you know?
a terribly written part, but I appreciate the character nonetheless.
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't mind the character.
No. I mean, like, that one woman who plays fucking, like, was in that one movie show about wine and Grey's Anatomy.
Sandra Oh?
Yeah, she would never fucking work
I'd
in
smash
Asia.
that too.
I'm not saying that they're unattractive. I'm just saying that in terms of Asian cinema ideals, they do
Right.
not fit it.
Yeah, but we're still talking about American film, and at the end
Right.
of the day,
And I think it's
like,
great that American cinema, like, is willing to incorporate, like, people, if they don't live up to certain kind of archetypes, into the fold, anyways.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't think American cinema is trying to necessarily go out of their way to appease like an Asian audience. It's sort of more of an incidental.
Well, not until fucking China came in.
Well, what about there's gonna be the Master of Kung Fu Marvel movie is coming out.
I know. I'm kind of curious
and there's
about
like
that.
a very good-looking Asian Chinese American
That's-
actor. I
that's
forgot his name.
China's fucking
But
doing
is
it.
China
see what
gonna
happens.
fuck with that, or is that made for Americans?
I don't know that they want that to work in China. I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Of course. But he's a guy that has not a fan base in China at all,
Right.
right? Yeah.
But China social media won't explode with, "Oh my God, he's so fucking ugly."
We'll see.
know?
We'll see.
Oh, that kind of stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
We'll see. It's Weibo, man.
Wow.
We'll see. But like for example, Daniel Wu, like he's got like a huge following in China.
Right.
But then he's not getting those big roles here. He did Into the Badlands, that show, but then it's not work. Like he did not get that Master Kung Fu. He should have got that type of thing because he's got an audience
Wait,
built
who's
in.
Daniel Wu?
He's from Oakland, but he became a huge star in Hong Kong.
Okay.
And then he's huge in China as a result.
Didn't I meet him?
How
Wasn't
about
he here?
Donnie Yen? He was in Star Wars.
But he's like super old. I don't
But
think.
wasn't he also like? Didn't he have a lot of?
He probably
made a
does. I
lot of
really don't
Chinese
know.
movies?
I'm sure.
I have a feeling that was
I
when I heard Donnie Yen's casting. I honestly thought that was a Chinese marketing thing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Hey, no.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
it's something I've observed.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I'm totally psyched to see more Asians in Star Wars.
Sure.
Awesome.
I think I don't see. I think that something like Star Wars deserves to have a multicultural cast.
I mean, also it's just funny because it's like, like you got Greedos and like aliens from all over the fucking weird ass fucking galaxy, and everything's fine. But then you see a black man, and it's like, what the fuck?
Right.
There's no black people in Star Wars.
There was an SNL skit about like that, wasn't there? Like the 3 black people in all of the Star Wars universe.
I remember that. Well, it's funny because it's like they did do a sort of retro-fitted attempt where they put, when the first time we ever see a stormtrooper with his mask off, it's a black man.
Right.
And it sort of suggests like, well, that's where all the black people are. You don't see black people like in other parts of Star Wars because they all got the shit jobs, just like this world.
Right. But I remember like when they first introduced Finn in the trailer, and like I felt like social media just exploded. Like, what the fuck,
Why? Because he's black?
Yes, because he was black.
Because there's no black people in Star Wars? Is that the
Because
pro- is that
I
the
think it's
problem?
because American social media or Western social media believed that stormtroopers were Caucasian, like everybody else that manned the Death Star.
Well, I got news for you. It's like anytime you go anywhere in America and you do something and there's some low-level person servicing you, most of the time they are not specifically white. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't the stormtroopers be black?
Because they're in space.
Yeah, but it's like, they're not going to be in a position of leadership or in a position.
It's not
It's
a feeling
Jim
that
Crow. It's like Jim Crow in space.
Right. Well, hey, it's not a feeling that I had personally.
I know that,
but
nobody's accusing you of that.
No, I for a second I thought you were.
But I just think that's kind of clever.
Right.
You
No.
know, it explains like where all the black people went.
Right.
They
It's
have their- they
it's
have
definitely an interesting theory. I definitely find that like, because it hasn't, we haven't like seen other stormtroopers with their helmets off, so we can't like,
Right.
make
Well, I mean, in Force Awakens, you can hear the voices, and some of them are women.
that. Uh-huh.
I'm guessing that it's like in the First Order, they don't discriminate. There's a black officer in the
Right.
First Order but the thing is, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why, if you're a righteous black person, would you be in a fascist organization, a white supremacist fascist organization?
Well, as long
Oh,
as that fascist organization is all inclusive,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. As long as they're equal opportunity racists.
So, top 5.
I guess top 5 is going to be my dick,
Okay.
because I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Nice.
As always. Decon is in my top 5.
Cool.
Mandalorian is definitely in my top 5. I just started watching Watchmen today,
Oh.
which is also in my top 5. I think that's great. That's another like super Afrocentric science
Yeah.
fiction
Oh,
story.
Watchmen's great.
I just love seeing non-white people like being involved, being important characters in
Yeah.
science fiction and fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to me,
Mm-hmm.
and that really, I only saw the first episode. Don't
Okay. Oh,
spoil
I haven't
it
seen.
for
I
me.
haven't seen the latest one yet.
Either
so.
have
I just feel that, like, in a lot of ways, all this fantasy, science fiction stuff that we're all supposedly into is absolutely applicable to everyday life and the politics and the social conditions of today.
Sure.
And they definitely reflect, like, what America feels about itself. Like, America is crazy.
Well, isn't like most like science fiction and fantasy basically reflections of the times that it was written in?
Yeah, if it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be applicable and allegorical, and it's supposed to like sort of give us a platform to act out or sort out issues that we can't maybe do in real life.
Yes.
Like, I was just thinking about today, because I'm putting together a presentation about like African American representation in science fiction and action figures, and Lieutenant Uhura is a really important character, and that
Yep.
was the first interracial kiss on television.
Right.
And it's just funny that like anything that's sort of progressive, or
Had to be in space.
it had to be in space. It
Can't be on Earth.
Yes,
No.
it had to be in
Yep.
science fiction and a fantasy situation. And that's just one example.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Wasn't there one in Battlestar Galactica? I remember the cards. I think I had a card, but the woman had 4 eyes, like an eyeball's bullet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The lounge
but-
singers.
Yeah.
Oh, she was a lounge singer.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So she had like 2 mouths. Didn't she have 2 mouths?
I don't
too?
Yeah,
remember.
she had 2 mouths
Okay,
and
just to
4
say.
eyes, and a
Okay.
giant afro. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like sometimes progress or social progress occurs in science fiction and fantasy before it happens in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah, so let's congratulate ourselves on how deep this show is.
So you're gonna make figures of that?
Not specifically.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not going to make figures of anything.
Got 2 more.
Somebody did ask about him online. They're asking if a Sucklord Mandalorian piece is coming.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah, potentially, yeah. I mean, you could say that, like, the silver Sucklord helmet sort of like predated the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's
helmet.
old school. That's how that's when I first met you.
Yeah.
It was when you were still rocking the silver helmet
Where at Comic-Con?
at San Diego Comic-Con.
And you were like, who's that guy?
And I'm like, what? This guy's a fucking dick.
You used to come by our booth too before. Like, I don't know, 15 years ago or more. You used to come by our booth as well.
Yeah, I was on your dick.
Yeah, but you just would walk by. You'd have the radio. You most of the time didn't have the helmet on though. I remember you without it. Most of the time.
Maybe. I
Yeah.
mean, I used to keep the helmet on a lot.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah.
it was important for sales,
Yeah. But I
and
felt like
for
you
creating the image.
you didn't have figures then though, right? It was you didn't.
Occasionally. I
I
mean,
I thought you were just kind of walking by yourself. Like this is pre
I
that.
did it for a long time.
Yeah.
The
No, I know.
first time I ever picked up a boombox and put on a Boba Fett helmet was in '97.
Wow.
And
Oh,
then
wow.
the first time I ever did it, and I went to I went to the special editions, and I went to the 1999 Phantom Menace in that gear. First time,
Wow.
and I went to Star Wars Celebration 1 in 1999 wearing that gear, and I would sell CDs out of my pocket. But I was still like hip hop Boba Fett. I wasn't the Sucklord yet.
Right.
The Sucklord was when it
Exactly.
was painted silver and had the cape. That didn't start till like 2004, 2005.
Okay.
When I made my first figure, I had already done for years and years and years, just gone out with a boombox and pockets full of CDs of Star Wars breakbeats. And then when I made the first toy in 2004, I added that. And I
Gotcha.
would sell that shit. And I only did that for a couple of years until they all sold out. And now they're worth like $1,500.
Whoa.
Wow.
Awesome.
But
But you were wearing blue. I remember blue a lot. Were you wearing blue also?
no, it was a lot of gray.
Gray?
Gray.
Like way back though. The
Like
way back version.
Yeah, slate
gray?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always had the same outfit, even though when I went from like hip hop Boba Fett to Sucklord.
Yeah, it was hip hop Boba Fett. That's the era. I remember that one quite well.
I had the graffiti on the helmet and the gold chain and the pens on the belt and the rolled up leg
And you had
and the fat laces.
you had some kind of when I took a picture, I remember you did some kind of hand gesture. I don't remember what it was.
some gang shit.
Yeah, it's like a gang shit, but I don't know what it was. Can't remember.
I don't remember. I remember I sucked the slave layer's ass because of that.
What I told you, I knew this show was gonna be great.
Oh,
I knew
shit.
this show was gonna be great.
Oh shit!
So
What the fuck? That okay.
I got a lot of sex from that.
nice.
Awesome.
Well, so how do you? How did you see the hip hop trooper walking around?
Of course, I know who the hip hop trooper is.
Are you guys like are you friendly with him or?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
I don't know. I mean, like.
I'm not doing that shtick anymore, and if I was, I'd roll with him.
Oh.
Maybe I still will. Maybe
Whoa.
maybe the Sucklord and Hip Hop Trooper might do something together.
What?
Why not?
I don't
Why
know.
not? Why not? I mean, he does it better than I ever did.
Yeah.
Like, he goes to all the things, and he has his shit tight, and he has the good radios, and he just is perfect.
Good radio.
You know,
No,
yeah.
his shit is loud.
I
Like
mean,
it's
yeah,
super
I used
loud.
to, I dabbled in it, and I did it like once or twice, and it's like, okay, that's my idea. I'm gonna move on now. You know, but that guy lives it.
Wow.
Right.
So he's got like a
I
radio.
could have fucked Bai Ling at Star Wars Celebration 3.
What happened?
I played myself.
Oh.
Ah.
Oh. Wow.
Because she was in episode 3. She got cut out of it. But she was signing autographs at the Star Wars Celebration. And I was just like, I was kind of the man, but I didn't realize how much the man I was. So I was just like, I second guessed myself and I let it slip. That was the same year that Jeremy Bullock said, "Bounty Hunter," to me when he saw me in the elevator. He, the guy that played Boba Fett.
He said that to you?
Yeah, game recognized game at that very moment.
Wow.
Wow.
You mean you weren't even in your outfit?
I
You-
wasn't. Of course I was in the outfit. I never took it off.
Oh, okay.
I would spend the whole weekend of Star Wars Celebration. It was funny because I was working for Hasbro at the time.
You worked for Hasbro?
Yeah, and they paid for everything. They paid to get me out there. They paid for my hotel room, and I would come to the Star Wars Celebration or Comic-Con like a day or two early, and I would set up their display.
Oh.
And then I would have to break down the display.
Right.
But in the interim, I could do whatever I wanted, and that involved walking around in a hip hop Boba Fett costume, hitting on chicks, and selling contraband CDs.
Awesome.
How long were you doing the CDs thing for?
Years. I put the first one out in '97.
Mhm.
Oh, I put the cassette out in '96, and then I put out the CD in '98, and it was probably I was still selling those out of my like suitcasing.
Right.
That's what they called it. I got busted a few times, like going to Star Wars Celebration or Comic-Con and just like not having a booth and like selling shit out of my pockets. I got busted by like undercover security you know, because they don't want you selling shit if you haven't bought a booth. And it's like,
Right.
they called it suitcasing.
Wow.
I did that probably till like 2009 or 10.
So what Star Wars breakbeats? Were you a DJ? Did you make that, or was
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I
Oh,
did.
okay, I wasn't sure if that was already made, and you
Yeah, it
just
was
took
just-
somebody else's.
I mean, I just it
you did
was
some
real-
Canal Street shit. Took,
Yeah,
got from Canal Street and
I
then
mean,
sold
I
it.
definitely did Canal Street shit to it, but it was just basically I just like had a drum machine and a little sampler, and I just like I ripped loops and cuts off the Star Wars VHS tapes, and then like funky breaks, and I just made it into
That's cool.
a compendium of songs,
Awesome.
and sold that shit forever.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like the first thing I ever did. And I was selling that at Other Music, and that was when the internet first came out. Like I put this out in like 98, and like I had my first PayPal account, and I had like you could actually like make an online purchase. Was just like a thing at the new.
Right.
It was new at the
Yep.
time, and I just sold the fuck out of that until Phantom Menace came out and ruined everything because nobody wanted cool Star Wars shit anymore. And then I switched to Lord of the Rings, and I failed at that. I was in the,
What the fuck? I didn't know
Well,
that.
I made a Lord of the Rings record, and it just wasn't as good. Is my breath stink? Okay.
You're doing good.
And then I was in that Lord of the Rings hip hop group, Lords of the Rhymes, for a couple of years, and we were doing Hobbit hop.
What?
We were doing Hobbit hip hop, and I did that for a couple of years, and then in 2005, I did another Star Wars mixtapes with Bill McMullen, and that's when I started making the figures,
Awesome.
and that's when I stopped making music stuff.
Cool.
Like, so what? I mean, like, you know, whenever I think, at least I think of, you know, like this entire, like, you know, DKE Dove, you know, figure kind of thing. It all kind of, to me, it all kind of just trickles back down to you.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it
Oh,
does.
Go on. Explain why you think that.
Because the first time I ever saw a bootleg figure was in Monkey King, and I remember thinking a lot of it was garbage, except for this one figure that totally turned it around for me, and it was the bitch you didn't get to fuck,
Oh.
you know, figure, and because it was so clever, like it was the cover and everything was so clever to me. I was just like, whoa, like okay. You know, this like that for some reason that figure spoke to me.
I mean, I can only speak for myself, but are a lot of bitches that I didn't get to fuck out here. Maybe you're different.
No.
Maybe you fucked all the bitches.
No, no.
Yeah, I've been.
I think that's probably the reason why I could empathize with it. But like, you know, and then I started like taking the time to kind of like read into it and see read the backs, and you know, and I started getting your thing.
You know, I thought you were the only one doing it for the longest time. I'm
Yeah.
like, there's all these other people doing it, but
I mean,
I thought you were the only one until like last year and shit. I thought you were the only one doing it, and I realized no, these are other people.
I
doing
mean,
it.
you should really ask Dove to give the historical account. But I started making that stuff in 2004,
That's early.
and you didn't really see anybody else doing it again until like 2011.
Do you think it was the work of art show that kind of like helped push the popularity of it?
No. No, I don't.
What do you think happened?
I mean, the reality is it's an obvious idea. It's like to just make your own action figures seems like something that like if I didn't think of it or do it first, somebody else would have done it. It's not that.
But you were that action figure that you made, right? That was kind of the
beginning.
beginning. That's crazy.
No, I'm the best. I'm not saying
okay.
I'm not saying I'm not the best, but I'm just saying it's like it's possible for someone else to have conceived it. And like people have always been making little mashup figures and using toys and chopping them and gluing them together and making their own things of it. And that's not something I specifically invented. It's kit bashing or garage models or whatever. I just was maybe the first one that positioned it as fine art, and the first one that did it so spectacular.
You also packaged it, right? I don't know if the other ones are packaged, but yours, I never seen those. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the packaging is the most important part of it, and the figure is the secondary aspect of it. It only needs to be like a basic crude figure that supports whatever the package is asserting.
Sure.
And I don't know, maybe that's my individual contribution to that, but like the act of doing it and it's anybody could have come up with that.
Sure.
And other people see, oh, you know, someone's already done it. It's easy to do. I'll do it too. I mean, I've had like people who like would buy this shit forever and ever, like always spend zillions of bucks on everything I ever put out. And they were like, wait a minute, why am I buying this when I can just make my own? It's not that hard to make it. And then suddenly there you go. Then there's a whole movement of people doing it. And all your customers became competitors.
Right. Are you still? I mean, like I saw your booth. I saw some of the latest ones that you did. I think my favorite one from this year was the
Champion Spark Plugs IG88.
No,
Okay.
it was the Playmobil one with the guy from I think it was Apocalypse Now or no.
The Robert Duvall.
I think so. Yeah, like
it was
the cowboy hat and
Charlie Don't Surf.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really fun because you had the image, it was perfect, and then you had like the Playmobil toy,
Which makes no sense because something that adult shouldn't be a Playmobil.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
You get it.
I that's the reason why I liked it was because I got it.
Well, it's funny. Like the stuff I'm doing right now doesn't focus on craft at all. Like I'm not a great artist as far as just like my execution and my painting and my sculpting and my hands. It's like I'm very rushed, and it's just like I'm more about just like putting the idea out there as quickly as possible, even if it sucks. That's why I made the brand Suckadelic,
Right?
because I wasn't trying to advertise myself as like a craftsman. I'm just sort of trying to like get to the point of what I'm trying to say with this as quick as possible, and it doesn't matter if it's bad.
Right.
And that's what's funny to me about just like right now I'm just like working on like something very immediate where it just like take the shortest route to be as provocative as possible.
Isn't that like a reflection of our modern times?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just funny because I look at a lot of the guys. I deal heavily with Dove, and we do a whole show where we analyze the work of other contemporaries that do this type of artwork,
Right.
and how some people who make the resin stuff and they put so much effort and so much craft and execution into like a joke.
Right.
And it's like, that's cool, but it's like you made 40 figures and every single one of them is perfect, and it's like got articulation and detail, and it's just like it's some pun, that has, and I'm not against it. It's just like, but it's just like for me, it's just more like I just want to just like touch on an idea as quickly as possible, and it doesn't matter if it's bad. As long as I make the statement, and then boom, the next.
Sure.
I don't care about the craft.
Right.
The artistry of it, I'm not a painter or a sculptor. I'm not like you. I can't make beautiful images and draw and paint. So for me, it's just like how to do it as quickly as possible.
Right.
And then forget about it.
And then just move on to the next idea.
And move on to the next idea. Yeah, that's sort of my approach right now.
Well, I don't know. I like to think that to a certain degree I share a similar kind of understanding, and because I'm too lazy to fucking like want to, like, especially when you're trying to do something like editions,
Yeah, it's tough.
Tough. It's a lot of work.
It's tough, and like all this making shit. It's like I made my first resin figure in 2004, and I did my first edition in 2005, and since then, was that 14 years or?
Yep, 2000.
I've probably put out like 3, 4, 5 like editions of like 30 pieces,
Right.
that every single one of those pieces I'd made by hand.
Right.
And that's just like, fuck that shit. I mean, there's nothing more to say for me to say with that. It's like I've done that forever, and it's like it's great that you can do that. And some of these people that fuck with Dove just make excellent stuff.
Yeah.
And they put so much effort into this edition of toys that are so well
Sure.
made.
Sure.
But to what end? It's like whatever. It's just like you're gonna sit there and spend like 3 months making 30 figures of a joke.
And there's only so much you can generally sell these for if you don't have the name recognition to back it.
Yeah, sure. Even if you do have the name recognition, it still doesn't like add up to like a great success.
Right.
It could maybe, at least for me, add up to like making a living, but it's not making you rich.
Right.
and you have to do another one and another one and another one and another one, and then suddenly this other guy did something funny, and then all the people that were buying your shit buy their shit.
Right.
Or the people who were buying your shit were realizing like, oh, I have a funny idea. I'll make a figure too.
That's what
and
I did.
And I'll stop buying stuff. Whatever. It's a very weird business. It's a very, very weird business, and I want to get the fuck out of it.
Oh,
Wow.
I often wonder about like like people who aren't in this business of the figure stuff. Like I think there's this one guy who was featured in like Vice or something like that. And
Dan O'Brown?
I think so. And he just does like one individual figure, and it's usually like a some kind of
something catchy.
You're right. Some license, some like Breaking Bad or something like that. And he does it really well, and I guess he just flips it on eBay or something like that.
Well, good for him.
But still, it's like it feels like a brutal fucking hustle. Like, to like just like all the work that goes into it, and how can
Well, aren't I a fucking hero for doing it?
Well, how can we, that's what I'm saying. I guess the question is like, how do we get to like the fucking hype beast fucking level where you have other people doing that shit for us and we just fucking collect?
I mean, I'm sure all of that is possible. It's not difficult to find. There's jobbers that will make stuff for you if you give them money.
Sure.
And if you have like a great idea and you have the audience for it, you could probably make that stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's doable.
You mentioned
but why?
For the money, and to spit out your ideas, to share your philosophy.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, then you're a manager.
Right.
And
well, I
you're
mean,
just like delegating work to other people.
I mean, that's how fucking Murakami, Cause, and fucking like all these fucking contemporary artists make their living.
Yeah, and I'm sure some clever, smart person in this so-called bootleg toy game will figure that out and take it to that level.
Mm.
But is it worth it?
Potentially.
I mean, just to make money.
Well, I mean, like, it's not just money that you're making also. And when you're playing, an art game, you're also developing your own name and reputation, right?
But to what end? Like to
fame
play,
and glory.
Do those things really give you what you need?
They give it a lot of it.
It'll work. It'll work for some people, for sure.
Yeah,
that's their goal.
I mean, like,
literally
I mean, if there's anyone out there who's interested in chasing that game, I kind of figured, you would be one that can empathize with it.
I mean, I appreciate that, and you're right. I am a mercenary. I'm a self-serving individual. I mean, I think everybody is, whether they want to admit it or not. I mean, I built that into my brand.
Right.
It's like me doing me is part of what you're paying for.
Sure.
And you're hopefully, if you're a fan, you're rooting for that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to like the day-to-day of like managing a production operation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know, like, are you really that guy that's going to manage a team and do like a Super 7 type thing?
No, I'd manage the manager.
Oh, there's a manager to be managed. I mean, the thing is that I'm trying to do as little work as possible.
Sure.
I'm trying to get to the thing as quickly as possible. And I don't necessarily want to have like a company where I have to think about like numbers and fulfillment and all that stuff. I'm trying to get away with that. I just want to be like just pure ideas and performance.
I see.
And I don't want to be like the business person. If like somebody else wanted to do that, that would be a great partnership.
Right.
Somebody else is like, I could just like fart the shit out, and then some other person figures out how to put legs under it.
Right.
I'm not the leg putter under.
But there's always going to be a certain degree of managing, I would assume.
Yeah, but I don't want to do it.
Right.
I want someone else to do it, a competent person that is satisfied with that.
Right.
So I can go out and dream big dreams, and then they can.
That sounds like the dream, though.
Yeah, that is the dream. That is definitely the dream.
I got you, because that's the dream.
Everyone,
that is the dream.
every artist wants it.
Do you want to do that?
I don't anymore, but I did at one time.
What support an artist with the underpinnings?
Oh,
of the
you mean the
production.
work part? No, I want to
Yeah,
be
you
the
want-
I want to be the artist.
Everybody, yeah, that's
Yeah,
the thing. Everybody
exactly.
wants to be the artist,
Yeah.
and nobody wants to be
Exactly.
the guy that does the hard work. And
Yeah.
it's like that individual is much more rare and hard to find and hard to corral and involve than the creative type.
They're out there. You just have to.
I mean,
you know,
I've
they're
had
out there.
plenty of experiences where I've like teamed up with somebody that was going to help me. And then it turned out instead of doing the business part, they just wanted to do the fun creative part.
That's
Sure.
how it usually is.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
how
sad.
it
They
usually-
want the
that's-
perks.
yeah.
Yeah,
without
that's
the
how it
fucking heavy
usually
And then
lifting.
their ideas usually suck.
Well, I don't
Right?
know about that,
Oh,
but
come
I'm
on,
just
they
saying.
suck.
I don't know about that. I'm just saying, like, I have enough of my own ideas. I'm not
Yeah.
looking for an idea person.
Yeah.
I'm looking for an execution person.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how much you're paying them, right? Like, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the sort of catch-22. It's like I can't hire a quality person unless I can pay them, but I can't pay somebody until I have a quality person.
right.
And so the thing is, it's like, oh, you want to be in my thing. You want to work for me. You want to work together. You don't get paid until you create your own salary,
Right.
until your contribution makes them enough money for you to get paid.
But that's
and I don't know
totally
anybody. And I don't know anybody like that.
But that's
a
within the
fantasy
realm of.
situation.
But that is within the realm of possibility because of the fact that, like, if you're bringing the brains and and they're bringing, everything else, then like all they need to do is pick the fruit and fucking like take it to the whatever.
You make it sound so easy.
No, well, I mean it's
No,
conceptually
it's
easy.
not
How
easy.
do you do it? Like, you're a successful artist.
I fucking paint my ass off.
And who sells your paintings for you?
The galleries sell my paintings for
The
me.
gallery. Which gallery?
The galleries,
How many galleries do you have?
I work predominantly like with my big shows with Corey Helford Gallery, but I work with Eric and I work with.
But do you have
other
like
shows.
a manager or somebody that helps you like sort out the day-to-day
Nope.
and the details of this shit?
No.
You do it yourself?
Yep.
And that works?
So far.
Boom. That's called small business right there. Yeah, that's called small business.
I mean,
You know.
but you must have it like down to like a sort of system, right?
To a certain degree.
Yeah.
Like I know, like I will start planning like a year or two ahead, with what shows, and then there's certain like places like 1X Run who I do prints with.
So how do you make your money on a weekly basis? How often do you get paid? If you don't mind me asking.
I get paid probably about monthly. Depending
from where? Where
from
does- and
projects
where does
like
the money
from
come
group
from?
shows. Like I'll get a big lump sum from a solo show if the show does well, and
And
then
you do that many solo shows that you get
I'll-
paid
no,
monthly?
I try and do one solo show a year,
and
that
you get
one
paid monthly for one show?
no, and then I'll do little things here and there to.
And do you have a website with merchandise?
I do, but I haven't had merch on there for a year.
Oh, okay.
But he
Yeah.
does figures. I mean,
Yeah, I do toys.
There's a
Like
lot of
Monkey
stuff.
King will pay me
you-
quarterly.
and
Prints, figures,
are you
t-shirts.
managing all of this? Or is there somebody helping you like sort this all out? 'Cause it sounds
no.
like you have a lot of projects going on.
I do.
this man is busy.
Yeah.
But do you sort it out yourself? Do you have a person
I sort it out
helping?
myself.
Do you like doing that?
No, but when you gotta get paid, you gotta get paid.
Yeah, me too. I don't either. I
No.
fucking hate it.
But it's not within the realm of day-to-day living, it's not that much work.
In my opinion, too. In my situation, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm able to handle it, and I think I compartmentalize it all, so I know when it's when it's coming, what I got to do, bookkeeping. It's all compartmentalized where I can kind of go fast now. Like I can fly through, and I realize, oh, what's the point of counting like 400 pennies? And I could be off by one, and then start over recounting? No, just move forward, man. 400 pennies is $4. Don't waste your time. So it's like. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of like get into the micro minutia of it all, or you can just kind of move through it. So I just kind of move through stuff, and if I'm off by pennies, then fine. But I'm moving through it, and I can live with that. So I kind of look at it that way. It's tough.
There's got to be a better way.
Could be. I could see it too, but not
Right.
right
Well,
now.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think like for myself, like when I know I've had a release, if I had a release and I know like I should expect to be paid in a month after the release, then I will be knocking on the door if I don't get that check in a month.
And is this what you're going to do for the rest of your life?
I'm hoping that it'll evolve.
Into what?
Well, what if Luke made 10 paintings a year and that's all he had to do, and those paintings sold for $100,000 each? Then you wouldn't have to,
Right.
then you don't have to, you don't need, you can just do it yourself.
Right.
Let's just say that's all he had to do.
Is that what's happening?
No,
Not
it's
yet.
not yet. But like,
But is that the thing you're driving towards?
it's definitely one of it's something like that, and what I'm shooting for. Where I mean, like I'm kind of playing a slow and low game, I guess. Where it's like I'm just trying to make sure that I develop a stable, collector base that's constantly growing or evolving, as I, as the prices, slowly creep up,
What about what's going on with your personal life?
Don't really have much of one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm, living in Los Angeles, where you kind of have to drive to get, everywhere, and just get kind of tired of, going out. I mean, I go out to like shows and
Do you
stuff like
have
that.
friends?
Yeah, I like to think I do.
Do you make new friends?
I try to.
This guy makes new friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Do I?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm like, well, you're friends with this guy? Damn.
Yeah.
Usually it's in disapproval, though. I'm like, that guy? Oh, man, you're hanging out. But,
I think it's
it's all
I
good.
think it's important to consistently.
It's funny because I like to think that I don't go out much, but apparently I go out a lot more than I think I do.
What do you mean by go out?
Like, I have participate in social events.
And you get your dick sucked?
Here and there, I guess. Making fun of me. Yeah, I have a funny laugh.
No, I'm not making fun of you.
You
All right.
are. It's okay.
So wait, let me break in. We got some questions.
Oh, great. I love that.
One, Kano, first off, gives you a shout out.
Oh, that's
Shout
Kano
out-
is a solid
shout out.
motherfucker.
Shout out to the Sucklord. Do you guys go back to the New York Times because he's from
I
New York?
did not meet Kano in New York. I met Kano in the toy scene.
Okay.
I don't remember specifically where, but I didn't know him like back in the day. I wish I did because apparently it was a good time.
Cool. David Horvath from Ugly Dolls says Mandalorian has a silver helmet thanks to Sucklord. 100% must be. Yeah.
I will go along with that.
All right. Someone named Gallery F
Oh, Galleria.
I know Gallery F.
asks, got any more of these Star Wars breakbeats
I do.
for sale?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so hit up Sucklord for that. The number David Horvath mentions, the first real urban toy seller in New York City was Wonder Mouse on Canal Street from the 90s. Do you know who that is?
No, the first urban toy I ever saw was the Futura 2000 Point Man figure.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, no, those toys before that for sure.
but not designer toys.
I think so. Wasn't like Michael Lau stuff
Yeah,
before
Michael.
that?
I'm
No.
not sure when Michael
No,
Lau stuff was.
I don't know when Point Man came out,
It
though.
it
I
was
can't
like
be exact.
97.
97. All those guys are around the same time. Even Cause was around there. Yeah.
I
And,
mean,
because that Bounty Hunter brand was like 96, 97.
Bounty Hunter
Yeah.
and Bathing Ape
Yeah.
and
Let's see.
360 Toy Group.
Yeah. I actually went to their spot. I was on Elizabeth or something, or one of those streets.
El-
Not
Eldridge-
Elizabeth.
Eldridge Street.
Eldridge, yeah. Yeah, I went to there. It was next to, what was it?
Recon.
Recon. Yeah, Recon and 360 were next to each other. I've been. Let's see. Robin Ness Collectibles says he wants that mixtape.
What mixtape?
I think they're talking about the Star Wars mixtape thing you had.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just put out a mixtape.
Oh, maybe
in
it's that one.
September.
Okay, then Kano Kid asks, how do you feel about all the hip hop Star Wars cosplay that you helped usher in? We kind of touched upon it earlier, but he could have missed it.
What other Star Wars hip hop cosplay is there?
I think he's talking about that other one.
I think the Hip Hop Trooper. Maybe.
I guess
It's
there must be
fucking cool.
more than that.
Listen, first of all, taking the whole mashup culture, when people start to get all claimy about stuff, like I thought of that first, I thought of that, this is my idea. It's like when you take such broad concepts as like Star Wars and hip hop and choose to find some interface with them, anybody can do that. It's not one person like thought of that. Maybe somebody did do an exercise into that, and that, made a splash or caught someone's attention, or was like an attempt at that was noteworthy. But like the concept of that can't be claimed by any one individual.
You mean mashups in general?
Well, yeah, or even specific mashups.
Right.
Because like you can't claim anything you're mashing up because you didn't invent either of those things.
Sure.
And if you're going for like low-hanging fruit, like Star Wars and hip hop, those two things are just like universes, and one guy thought of it and everyone else who did it after was stealing from him. That's dumb. Anybody could think of that.
There you go, Kano. Well, David Horvath is just on a roll. He says, do you think the gay empire figures resulted in the Sith troopers?
No, I don't.
He said there were no non-white stormtroopers before Sucklord.
I mean, I don't know what the white armor.
I guess so, yeah.
I don't know about that. I can't answer that. A lot of people would like to say, "Oh, Sucklord, you like thought of all this shit, and now like Disney is doing this." I would. That's flattering to think that might be the case, but I can't confirm or deny. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, just because you did it first doesn't mean you're the inspiration for it.
Exactly. And the thing is, I always think like I had the inspiration. Someone else could have had the inspiration.
Sure.
It's like we're dealing with like a sort of like archetypes or like a cosmic, an unconscious, or just like a sort of like a subconscious, like collective ideas.
Sure.
And anybody can tap into that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And one person tapped into it and did one thing that was noteworthy doesn't mean somebody else couldn't independently think of the same thing.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
Yep.
Mashup culture has been around for as long as there's been culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like if you're walking around trying to claim any sort of ownership to anything that is a mashup, then like you're
Fooling yourself.
it's just not. It's not happening. It's not happening. Because someone else could think of that.
Sure.
You didn't think up either of the things you're mashing up.
Right. No, I agreed. I like my own work. I don't think of. I can't say that like it's an idea that I created.
I mean, if you put your own flavor on it.
Right.
Like when you do it, anytime you see like a Luke Chu piece of work, no matter what the subject matter is, you know it's Luke Chu shit because you have a distinctive style.
Sure. Well, I mean, obviously you could say the same thing about Sucklord. From you, I think I'm fine right now.
Oh, good. I'm good to hear. Good. I'm glad you said that.
Are you going to be? Someone asked another question.
What's up? What'd you say? Okay. What? Another question. Let's go.
Robin's Nest Collectibles. Will you see Sucklord in Assembly Required 2.0?
I'm not going to be there.
What? Assembly required? What the fuck is that?
Assembly Required is a toy show in Ashland, North Carolina.
Oh.
And I did it last year and it was great. I'm not, because of scheduling issues, I'm not going to be able to go this year, but it's a great show.
Are you traveling a lot? Doing cons and stuff like that?
I traveled a lot. I'm really trying to go international.
Mm.
I'm really trying to take the show on the road, and I'm trying to turn the travels into a television program.
Really?
Those are my ambitions.
Are you pitching it to studios, or are you just doing it your own thing?
Not yet. I mean, I feel like I need to have like a finished product. I have an opportunity to go to the Philippines, Argentina, India,
Right.
and do like a sort of toy travel exercise.
Nice.
To go to another country and find other artists that do this type of shit, and then go toy hunting, go digging, go traveling, go buying shit, going collecting stuff that's available in that area, in that country, in that city, and then making bootleg art out of that.
Awesome. I love the end of that.
And that's the finished product, and that's also like the sort of like the arc of the episode if you're going to make a TV show about it. It's like it's sort of like a cooking show, an Anthony Bourdain
Sure.
type thing where you go somewhere.
You
and
get the culture
you-
in.
Yeah, you get the culture.
You meet the people.
You meet the people.
You get immersed in it.
You get the
Yeah.
ingredients.
Yeah.
And then there's some output, and there's
Yeah.
a finished thing that
Cool.
is sort of the product of it. And that's something I'm trying to develop.
Sounds good.
It does it?
I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
sounds-
like,
that's
I watch that
interesting.
shit.
Yeah, I
I'd
like
watch
it
that
too.
shit.
I like it too. That's what I'm interested in. It's like I said, I don't want to be a widget maker for the rest of my life.
Damn. Widgets.
I
Got
made
you.
10,000 widgets in my life.
Has anyone showed interest in making a Sucklord documentary?
Yes.
Is there one? Is that happening, or did that just not go anywhere?
There's already a few in existence.
A documentary like 60 minutes, like long, 60-minute long type of thing.
I get filmed a lot,
Right.
and it's like
The 5-minute ones don't count. I'm talking
They-
about like
no,
a
they
serious
count.
one that goes to the movies and shit.
Well, documentaries suck and are boring anyway. Nobody gives a fuck about documentaries. Yeah, people want to do it. I think a reality show, a travel reality show, is the best way to convey these ideas.
Cool.
I agree. I think it's an interesting idea.
What do you want to do? You want to plug your phone in? Oh, okay. What else? You got more?
Yes, Glenn Yamakawa. Don't know him. All Asians know each other, but not this one. To the Sucklord, what was more stressful, the next great artist or Baby Tattooville?
Oh, the next great artist was way more stressful. Baby Tattooville. You guys know what that is, right?
You mean that convention thing?
The
What-
event?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were there together, I think.
Yeah, we were. I mean, I just ran around in my underwear. And no, I mean, it's difficult making it. It's stressful being on a television show, especially when it's like there's a risk of being eliminated or being forced into the out group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was way more stress. That's way more stressful. It's like to have to perform on camera and to make art on command and have to have like people that don't necessarily get what you're doing be the arbiters of whether you remain on the show. So yeah, that was easy. Baby Tattooville was fine. It was just like
I wonder why they asked that.
Well, that's
I
a
don't
weird
know,
kind. That's a weird pairing.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to question shame.
Yeah.
But
So there's like another season or something like that going on, right? A new show, some kind of an art type of criticism type of.
there is.
I heard that there's one being
Oh,
made.
I didn't know
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, is that the only season that show even went
It
on?
got canceled after
Yeah.
the second season
But
because
then-
it wasn't interesting enough. Apparently, it wasn't successful. Nobody wanted to watch it, and it didn't make any money, so it got canceled.
I've been hearing about this kind of concept for a while, and then all of a sudden I heard that there's another one that's being made now or coming out at some point.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that. I haven't heard about that. I mean, I know like if somebody wanted to give me money, I could create an art show like that.
Right.
I think we were talking about in New York with this gallery called Con Artist doing like a Chopped style show. Chopped?
No.
Yeah, the
What is
food
it?
show.
Okay.
Chopped, right?
Yeah.
It's basically, I feel like you could take like cooking shows and then just flip them a little bit to make them art shows.
Sure.
And Chopped is basically you give 3 chefs a box of ingredients and they're crazy. Like the ingredients are incongruous with each other. It's like gummy worms, beef jerky, and like fucking raw oysters. And it's like, make something out of that, And so it's like you could do that as an art show by giving an artist like 3 art supplies that don't make any fucking sense at all, and like show me how creative you are. Make these work together, and then you just film, and then you have like celebrity judges,
Right.
and you just like make them fight it out.
Right.
Right on.
That kind of stuff could totally be a thing.
It could be actually. Now that I think about it, though, it probably wouldn't. I can't even imagine like what kind of channel it would be public. Done on.
Yeah.
Public access, New York style.
We're working on that.
But it could be a fun show just because it's about like stretching creativity, forcing people to work in fucking mediums that they're not
I
used
just
to
think
working
if it has a good personality, it doesn't matter what the subject matter is. It's just you could sell the show.
Sure.
So what happened after that show finished? You won that show, right?
No.
You didn't win it. I thought you won that
No,
for some
I got
reason.
eliminated.
Like but like late, right?
About a little more than halfway through, and I got eliminated on the street art challenge,
Oh.
which was difficult for me.
But what happened to your career after that? Did that help you? Did that give you a boost, or what happened exactly?
Yeah, it helped.
Just selling more stuff? Were you able
I
to?
mean,
I remember
it
like you were on the
doesn't matter.
cover of like what was it, the New York Post or something like that,
The
or
Village Voice.
Village Voice.
Voice. Yeah.
I mean, the reality. I mean, I was not happy with my performance. I thought I made terrible artwork, and it was a shame in my mind that like I got eliminated on the street art challenge, because that's like sort of part of our world.
Right.
You know, it's like if there was going to be something that I would be good at, it would have been that. But I had already been demoralized by the process, and they give you a lot of alcohol, and it's just tiring. And it's just like I made some bad strategic decisions, and it caused me to be eliminated. And I was very worried about that. You know, it was like by the time the show wrapped shooting, and when it aired on television, was about 8 months. And I was obligated to keep my mouth shut about what happened. I was obliged to, you know, contractually.
Yeah.
So I had to pretend that everything was fine, where I'm having to live with this secret that in about 6 months from now, everybody in the world is going to know what a fraud I am. You know, I'm going to be my failure as an artist is going to be televised, you know, on national television. And like between when we wrapped and when it showed, I had to like wrestle with that, or just like get okay with that. And I couldn't. I was like, everybody's going to hate me. The show's going to come out, and I made bad graffiti, and a famous graffiti artist, Lee Quinones, is going to tell me on national television that I'm a whack artist. You know, and I had to just keep my mouth shut about that. And that was challenging. And then when the episode finally came out, and I thought, like, I'm not going to be able to go back to the Lower East Side. Everyone's going to think I'm a fake graffiti artist. And the reality was nobody gave a fuck at all. Nobody gave a flying fuck. All my fears were just completely unfounded, and nobody cared, and they forgot about it instantly. And people were like, whatever, you're cool, we like you, you did the best you could. Keep trying, buddy. And that was kind of all there was to it. It was like nothing.
I forgot about that too, actually. Now
No-
that you remind me of
Yeah.
all, I kind of remember this, but shit, I thought you won the whole thing. That's where
Yeah,
my
but
memory was.
yeah,
is
well, I'm
that's
glad
because you're
you
the
think-
champ right now.
I'm
you know?
glad you think that, but
I think you're the
mean,
champ.
The,
That's
the
why.
ultimate
That's funny.
The ultimate takeaway is
I thought you won the whole thing.
I actually did win.
Maybe so,
I won
you
the
know?
popular vote.
Hey,
I
probably.
won the moral
That's really
victory.
funny.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing. It was like
I
I
forgot
was
you
I
even
was
lost.
afraid. Good. You
I
know,
did.
because I was
Until
afraid
you
that it was
reminded
going to
me.
ruin me. And
No.
at the end of the day, none of it mattered at all.
Well, I mean, like, I
It
don't
didn't
think
matter
that
at all.
thing. I don't think a show like that can ruin anybody simply because of the fact that you're putting people in an artificial environment and asking them to do things outside of what they normally do.
Yeah, but
there's dummies watching TV though, and they think it's real.
Yeah, who knows what people are watching or thinking? And like, I took it seriously, and it was like also I was just like, the reality was it's like I did the best that I could. I tried to do the best, do the thing, and like I felt like I failed. Like I felt like my artistic abilities didn't serve me, and like I didn't come 100 with it, and like I felt like I let everybody down. But the thing is, I guess it's a good learning experience because nobody gives a fuck about anything, really. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you do. And you could be awesome or you could fail, and it just really doesn't fucking matter.
Well, I mean, like I mean, like when was that show?
And it's a long time ago.
Well, who cares? It doesn't
Like,
matter.
was it
I'm gonna guess
like
it's
90?
It came out in 2011.
2011.
Oh,
Okay,
like 10
In
Yeah.
2011, and look at me, I'm a millionaire, I'm getting my dick sucked, and I'm the most important artist of the 21st century.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it doesn't matter what happened on that show.
Amazing.
Awesome.
I wish
I
I
love
had just like a.
I wish I recorded this.
I wish I had a pound of that narcissism. That's amazing.
Listen, man, it doesn't matter. I think the most important thing to do is just suck your own dick. Because somebody has to do it, right? Somebody has to do it. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But it needs to be sucked. So if you suck your own dick, you're set. You're set.
Yeah.
You're set. You're set. If you can find a way to, and then if someone else sucks your dick, then okay, cool, you can take a break.
Amazing. Amazing. Like we should, you know, we should,
We
like,
should
you know,
like end the show on that.
That
note.
one's a good one, man.
yeah. How much time?
We're way early. We're at 1:15.
Oh my god, you're gonna have to come up with something even more clever than that, just for at
Yeah,
least, you
we're
know,
I
like.
mean, yeah, if you need to milk more of this, so what else?
Milk more.
What else? What else?
You
then?
know what?
I
You
mean,
know,
what do you talk about? in
So
the show?
my first fucking from what I understand, you're one of the first reality shows that you were on was actually like a dating one, a dating like
I was on
relationship.
the dating game.
Was it? You were on the. You were actually on.
The real dating game.
Oh really?
Yeah.
But like even like
in '97.
in '97. But like
Yeah.
even after that,
I
weren't you
lost.
on like on some MTV like?
I was on a VH1 dating show after that.
Yeah, because I remember.
Because my dating problems are so fascinating.
But how the heck? How are you getting all this stuff? Like, is there an
Yeah.
agent that you've got somebody working for you to get there?
Nope, both of them by random chance.
Wow,
Like-
including the art show.
Yeah.
Wow,
I mean, I just went to the open call
Wow.
for that.
shit,
For all of the things, I just went to the open call.
Oh really? Oh.
awesome.
Are there a lot, I mean, like, is that like something that you keep up with? Like, I mean, like, I don't think you're. I'm going to assume that you're no longer interested in doing that kind of, you know, that format of television.
Well, I would love to do more television, but I would like to be like it to be a show that I designed myself and that had some purpose. Like those were other shows that I got on,
Right.
and I was good enough, I suppose, on them to make it interesting. But I don't want to just be on. I mean, if it was that or nothing, of course, I'd be on anything. I'll fucking go on anything immediately.
Mm.
I love being on TV, and I like the checks. I was on the Goldbergs, and that was good.
Yeah, that's right. The Goldbergs. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, I still get checks from that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great. I mean, I would love to be on.
Well, how'd you
TV
get on that? Like, what happened?
Because Adam Goldberg, who created the show,
Mm.
is a bootleg toy collector.
No way.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
And,
crazy.
I mean, he's a nostalgia guy. He
Right.
loves all the, all the callbacks, and he's been buying this shit, and he puts it in the background of the show. You know, when you look at episodes or things on the set, there's like games and like toys that are important from that time, and then he thought it would be funny to like put some bootleg guy shit on there. And that happened. And then he was like, oh, wouldn't it be even funnier if we like put like the bootleg toy guy in the background as part of the set? So he did that.
and you actually, well, I mean, you weren't like this background. You actually had a.
I mean, I was a prop on the show. It was like it was like this Toys R Us set,
Mm.
and it was all these like facsimiles and replications of like classic toys. And then when I'm doing the scene with Sean, the actor,
Mm.
the little wall was all like fake shit from like Dove's guys, all
Wow.
that shit was fake shit.
Uh-huh.
And I guess Adam, the guy that made the show, thought, like, let's just like three-dimensionalize that by like making the guy part of the prop,
Mm.
and I had like this.
Yeah, I mean, you had a speaking role, and
Yeah.
like, it was. I saw the clip on YouTube when I heard about it.
Yeah, what a success that was.
Oh, it's great.
And you get checks from that still?
They're not big checks, but yeah.
Awesome.
Are you in like what you call it? Are you in
SAG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I don't have another role lined up. I would love to do more of that. I don't want to make fucking figures anymore. It
No.
sucks. I fucking hate it. It's a lot of work, and I did it already. I made thousands and thousands of them. I'd rather like perform on camera.
Mm.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. I mean, I would like it to relate to this.
Right.
I think there's plenty of opportunities to make a show about toy things and the subject matter that we deal with in our artwork.
Mhm.
I think there could be there's a show in there somewhere,
Right.
and I should do it. Somebody should do it.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. Make it happen, man.
Yeah, make it happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. No problem. Easy. Boom. It's hard to sell a show.
Sure is.
It's
Sure.
hard to sell a TV show, especially if it's weird or different. I want to do like a Mr. Rogers type thing. It's like you have to make something that's already been done. Nobody wants to take a risk on some
Right. And
new shit.
And you kind of explain it that way, right? I mean, I always hear that. It's the, Black Mr. Rogers,
Pretty
you
much.
kind of just got to
It's
go
like
with
this thing that's
Yeah.
already successful,
you
but
just
with
kinda-
this.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to do it. And it's a whole endeavor, and it's not something that can just. I mean, considering the half-ass nature of my television career, where I just sit around and do nothing, and then every 5 years somebody calls me and says be on TV. Like every time I've tried to actually sell a show, and I've done that a few times, it's been like stupid, like
Wow.
waste of time, just like didn't work out. Oh, the guy, you get a connection, and then it's like, oh, the guy that was repping your show is like not working here anymore. It's just like, I don't know, it's TV shit.
Well, it happens a lot apparently.
Yeah, it happens
Yeah.
a lot.
Like when you were talking to Kano, because Kano works in animation, and like Kano kind of like went on about like just the trials and tribulations of like trying to sell a show, and
When nobody knows what the fuck it is or gives a shit.
right, or then some studios will actually like pay, buy the idea. Hold on to the idea, and then just so it doesn't get into the hands of other people, and then let the idea die.
Let the idea die.
Yeah.
Kill it if you have to.
Yeah. Well, I mean that kind of thing happens, I guess.
Right. Well, you know what? There's a new Star Wars movie coming out in a couple of weeks, so I don't give a fuck what either of you have to say
No.
about any of this. I
Mm.
just want to get some Star Wars.
Oh, you're going to. I'm sure get plenty of it.
I don't.
I mean,
get
there's the
enough-
fucking show. There's the Mandalorian.
I don't get enough of it. I don't get enough.
What do you need?
Well, I think what's great is like I've been watching Star Wars since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
I saw Star Wars in the movie theater,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Dude, how old are you?
50.
Are you?
Yeah.
You are not.
What? You've known me for a long time. What do you think? I've been
I
30
thought-
the whole
I
time.
don't know. I thought you were a lot younger than me.
That's great.
Shit.
But I've been living with Star Wars my whole life.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm
Me
50
three.
also.
Happy fucking birthday.
Yeah, happy fucking
motherfucker.
birthday to you.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
the same age. Yeah. Do you look
That's
good?
weird.
Do you look good? Do you still fuck a lot?
I do sometimes.
Oh, good for you.
There you go.
I do too. Also, I do also.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, I feel great. I feel fucking good. I feel good.
So
I
tell me
li-
about the
I
Star Wars
lift
thing.
weights. I do kung
You
fu.
what?
I take Viagra.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just like for me personally, it's just like I love the fact that like the thing that I really loved and was passionate about when I was like 8 years old is like still a thing when I'm 50.
That's crazy, right?
And I still care about it, and it's like still an important part of the culture. I love it. I fucking love it. It makes
Me
me
too.
feel like included in the world. Like I'm not just floating here in space. Like feel like I'm connected to something, and it just gets me open. And I feel like I'm participating, and maybe someday I'll get to contribute something to it.
You already have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Whether
great.
it's tangentially or
yeah.
actually, inspiring somebody, I think so.
Tangentially,
Yeah, something like
that's
that.
the key.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's all about the tangents.
Sure is. In this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, it's all about the.
So if you don't want to make
That's-
figures, you just want to get into TV. But meanwhile, you're going to make more figures. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I want to, but I don't have to make them myself by hand.
But you still are.
For now, I am.
Yeah.
So you should buy them.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm telling you, like in the next couple of years, like the production method of Suckadelic is going to change dramatically, and all the stuff that I'm doing right now is going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So this is.
Oh, you're saying you're going to make production stuff? It's going to be done in a factory, maybe?
I'm not going to sit there and hand make widgets. I'll
Right.
tell you that much.
Right.
I'm only going to do that for a few more years, and if you don't get it now, you're probably never going to get it.
Damn.
Window of opportunity.
That's what do you call it? That's a sell point right there. So
Whatever, I did it. You either got it or you didn't. I'm gonna put books out, and I'm gonna like sort of academicize it.
wow,
you know?
academicize. I like
Yeah,
that.
like make it academic.
Sure, I got you.
And then like if you missed out on the opportunity to buy that shit for $40, $50, like, or on sale or on bargain, and you didn't do that, well, I made it available to you.
So-
You had your chance, and you didn't do it. That's not my problem. That's not my problem.
So do you do the 5 Points Fest? Is that like Decon? for example?
It's similar to decon, yeah.
I mean, is there a New York kind of a style? Because it just seems like all the makers I know are from West Coast.
A
you know?
New York style?
Not sure because
I am New York.
Are you the only one? Like there's other.
No, there's
gotta
other
be
people
others.
doing
Not a
it,
lot,
but they
though.
don't matter. I mean, 5 Points is interesting. It's 5 Points and decon are almost like you can topographically compare them to the two cities. Decon is very big and spread out, and 5 Points is very small and concentrated. You know, like Manhattan versus LA. Like everything is within this small geographic space, or it's in an expansive space. It's the same amount of value and culture, but it's just how diffuse it is. And those of us from New York, we like it tight. And you guys out here like it.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
Awesome.
On that note, shall we? Do you have any more questions, or
That's it. Everyone's speechless.
I'm quite satisfied with the whole thing.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Sugarfish, right? Is that a good spot to go?
Sure.
yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So, I've never actually been to Sugarfish.
She's a very talented individual, by the way. She used to paint some of my toys back in the day. Samantha Samuno. We had the Madonna figure last year.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
I don't remember that one. Anyways, well, I guess that's
Any last words? You've done a good job.
Let people know how they can get a hold of you.
Just find you?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Do
You
they
know
need
where
to
I'm at.
find you?
I mean, I just hope people. I just hope people stay interested because I'm about to flip shit. We didn't even talk about like the scale ups. We didn't even.
What's that?
What? Yeah, what is that?
Like?
You mean big figures? Like 12 inch?
Bigger thing. No, bigger than that.
2 feet?
Oh, come on.
Maybe.
2 feet Shogun Warrior size?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Because there's Shogun Warrior
Well, I
size.
just feel like at this point, it's like if this shit doesn't become. I'm sorry, I know we're trying to end the show.
No,
it's okay.
no,
I mean,
no.
if this is like doesn't become contemporary art soon, fuck it then. Right?
Yeah. Right. Well, you know.
Decon's great and all. I love it, but it's like it's not considered contemporary art.
No, it's definitely not.
But I think it could be.
Sure.
I mean, have you looked at contemporary art recently? It's crap. It's garbage.
Sure.
It's fake.
Right.
It's just as fake as any of this shit.
Sure.
So why not?
No.
No. You have a contemporary art vibe to you.
Really?
Do you?
I'm hoping I do. I mean, like, that's the game I want to play.
Do you?
You know, yes.
You want the contemporary art game.
Yes.
And so what's your take on that? How's that going to go?
It's really. I mean, it's something I want, but it doesn't mean it's not necessarily something I'm at. And
can you do it?
I'm aspiring for it.
I am too, and if it doesn't happen in 2 years, I'm retiring from this shit, and we're gonna make porno.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's always room for porn.
Yeah.
That's the
I have
weird
some
thing.
really, really good ideas.
Yeah, but like at the same time, there's very little money in it.
Except unless you have merchandise.
It's true. It's true. Do you know Corey? You know Corey.
Of course I do.
Yeah. So like
Wood Rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting out I'm going to do some stuff I did some stuff with them at AVN this year.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
going to do some more stuff with them at AVN next year.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think porn is essential, and I think everybody wants to consume it. And I just feel like as far as the industry as it stands now, they just could learn a lot from our business,
Right.
about how to make product.
Yes.
Because people love characters and they love ideas, they love situations, they love intellectual properties, but like they don't want to necessarily pay to watch it.
Right.
But they want to pay for all the shit that goes with it.
Right. They want something funny, clever, and sexy.
Yeah, but they don't have that yet.
Yeah.
They
agreed.
have the fun, sexy, but not the clever.
Right.
And they don't have the thing you can buy.
Right.
That's the trick, the thing you can buy. The
Well-
comic book, the DVD, the figures, the shirts.
Yeah,
the
but so much
patches.
of it now is just like, you know, so much is just available on the internet now for
But
free.
what if this took place in some fantasy situation, and it was an original IP, and it was fucking, and you could meet the girl that fucks in the comic book, and buy an exclusive from her? Is this dumb?
No.
I don't know. I think I have to understand the.
Oh, well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Let's just end this fucking podcast so I can get my sushi.
All right.
All right. Awesome, man. Thanks for coming down.
Sucklord, thank you so much.
Thanks, you guys.
You guys-
This has been a dream come true.
Dream come true for us too.
Okay.
Good times.
Good night.
times. You have a good night.